the stage now, we have a really funny lady. You've seen her at CVS, Ralph's and Albertsons, and occasionally Gelson's. She's a regular at Bread Bath & Beyond, and she's also appeared several times at the Camino Real Playhouse, and once she tried to do a set at the Ice House, but she froze. Please, everyone, put your hands together for Judy Mastracchio. Judy, here she comes.
I'm Italian, I talk with my hands, so I need the mic stand. I didn't know about this backdrop, or I wouldn't have worn this. But does it make me look thinner? Oh, that's all I need. Isn't this a great show? Yeah, and I love reunions. I love reunions, especially family reunions. Except my family is so screwed up that we don't even know who they are with the name tags. Let me explain this to you. My grandfather married my mother's sister. My dad married my mother. My dad's other brother married my mother's other sister. So that makes my aunt my grandmother, my father my cousin, and my mother my aunt. And we're not even from Mississippi. So speaking of Dad, he recently, oh, I forgot to tell you, I did offer people $1 if you laugh. So I've come through with this, okay? But you do have to show evidence of laughter. There have to be tear stains on your makeup, or at least runny eyes or something like that, okay? So let me put this over here so I don't lose it, because my husband loaned it to me. Anyway, speaking of Dad, he recently moved in with me. He's almost 99. He can't see, he can't hear, and we call him lucky. Every day, Dad and I have the same conversation at breakfast. He sits there and he says, I can't see, I can't hear, I can't think, and what's the other thing I can't do? And I'm like, maybe remember? So since he came to live with me, I was always worried about the kind of care he was getting. He lived upstate New York up until very recently on his own and took care of my mom till she passed away in 2017, which that makes him a saint right there. But I was worried about the kind of care he was getting upstate New York where he was living. Because I kind of had to figure, anybody who's upstate New York who's a doctor probably went to Joe's School of Medicine in the Bahamas, or had his license suspended, or had his license revoked. So I brought Dad to a couple of my doctors, and one of them was the ophthalmologist. Now, Dad has macular degeneration, which is not funny, except when he describes it. Because the way he talks about it is, I have this black spot in the middle of my eye, and I'll be looking at you, and I see you, and then I turn my head, and poof, your head is gone. So I took Dad to my ophthalmologist, who's a very well-accredited person. USC, he's an adjunct professor there. I mean, he's got all the bells and whistles of anything they should be. So Dad does the test, and of course, he says to the doctor, am I legally blind? The doctor says, well, yeah, you are, but why do you want to know? He said, can you give me a certificate that says that? Doctor says, yes, I can, but why do you want it? I want the tax deduction. Then on the way out, the doctor says, I'll see him again in 6 months. So Dad turns around and says to me, why does he want to see me in 6 months? So he can tell me I'm still blind? Excuse me. So Dad has been trying to get into some physical exercise. The other day he said to me, I'm going to go out and jog. Now this is a man who's almost 99 years old, who has never even walked fast. So how he was going to jog, I don't know. Comes out of his room, and he's got on a dress shirt, khakis, his sparkling white sneakers, and a fleece vest. And I said, Dad, you don't really look like you're going to go jogging. And he said, well, if your neighbors see me, I want them to know I look nice. He's really a lot of fun sometimes. Dad has a weight issue, but it's a problem with my weight. And he says things to me like, when I cook dinner and I put something on my plate, are you going to eat all that? Yeah, okay. Makes a little face about it. He said, are you going on Weight Watchers? And I'm like, why do you want to know? So the last time he said something like this to me, because it does get old after a while. Last time he said, I said, you know what, Dad? I'm going to shove every single thing I can find into my mouth until I explode. And then you're going to have to clean up the blood and the guts that are all over the walls. You know what he said? Lay off the potatoes. One of the interesting things about me, if you didn't know, is I'm recently married. My lovely husband's over here. We were married 4 years. Yes, you have to give him a hand, because if he's living with me. But before I met him, I was what I like to refer to as the internet slut. I was on every single website you could find for anybody who's 50 and over. And I had some very interesting dates, okay? One of them was, let's see, the first match I had was, his claim to fame was that he had been, the thing he was most proud of was that he had been shot 6 different times and lived to tell about it. Nope, didn't date him. The other guy showed as his profile photo a picture of him in his hunting gear with his gun, with a dead deer on the roof of his, not the roof, the hood of his Jeep, with blood oozing out of its mouth. Okay, didn't date him either. Then, for a while there, for some reason I dated 3 Michaels in a row. I don't know why. One of my friends said to me, well, at least they weren't all dicks. And it can be very tough dating at my age. One of the problems that I've always had is the conversation that you need to have with people. After you talk about why you're divorced and why you're not married and why you live where you live and how much money you make, after that there's really not much to go on after that. So, I forgot to say this one thing about Dad. Dad is so deaf that I have to scream at him every time I talk to him. But there's been a bonus to this, because my lungs have expanded to such a great capacity, I can now hold my breath underwater for about 20 minutes. I thought about applying to be a Navy SEAL, except that at my weight, it would be more like an elephant seal, and I really don't think the military has any use for that at all. So, anyway, back to my dating. One of the other problems that I always had was who's going to pay for the check. Okay, so I remember having one date where the guy ordered 3 times as much food as I had, and I always used to offer and say, would you like to split the check? Well, this guy did, and it wound up costing me $65 for me having an iced tea and a slice of toast. So that was not one of my best dates. Then I finally did get married, and I'm forgetting my entire set, I just want you to know that right now. I skipped around, I lost it, and Tom says, just have fun with it. I'm having fun with it. I don't know if you're having fun with it. But I forgot all the good stuff. I've been rehearsing this for 3 days, and I forgot all the good stuff. But anyway, so when we got married, sometimes you need a little help in the sex department, right? Okay. First of all, when Noel and I started dating, we decided we'd take it to the next level, and we decided we would go up the stairs together, because that made us breathe really hard instead of taking the escalator. Then when we got married, I realized that some of us older people probably need a little help in the bedroom besides the little blue pill. So I came up with this idea about having a GPS for sex, okay? And this is what happened. You'd be in the bedroom, and of course, if you're me, it would have complete blackout shutters, blackout shades, black sheets. I'd be in something camouflage, which of course would be black. And you'd push this little button on the night table, and a voice would come on and say, calculating route. Then it would say something like, recalculating route, return to navigation. Then it would say something like, make a legal U-turn. But at the end it would say, you've reached your destination. And I have reached my destination, which is the finish of my set, which I forgot half of. But I am the oldest one in the show. So that's a good excuse, don't you think? Anyway, thank you for coming out tonight. If I ever get to do this again, I'll memorize it better.